Hi guys, Bob here, and I've got a little game of Modern Warfare 3 for you. This isn't live commentary for once, and I'm probably going to submit this to Ken Gamers as well, so hello Ken Gamers. My name's Bob, like I said. I've posted once on Ken Gamers before, and this is a little video where I did a lot better than I normally do, so I wanted to post this, but I will just quickly say that this is a slightly silly class I'm running. It's not that silly, but I was trying to get akimbo pistols. I was trying to start unlocking akimbo pistols, so I've got a single silenced 7.9 sorry, which I occasionally, there it is, which I occasionally whip out and try and get kills with, in case you're wondering why I'm running around with this. And I've also got throwing knives on because I was dicking around, but this game went really well. I've already died, having said that, but I don't die much in this game, so I hope you enjoy it. And the purpose of this video was I wanted to talk about games for a change, and I wanted to talk about my top 5 games of all time. I hope I can fit this into this video. If not, I might do 2 parts. Might do like a countdown. I'm gonna start at number 1 though. I'm not gonna keep you in suspense. I've already announced that in a different game in a different video anyway. But yeah, my top 5 games, and the game that's number 1 in my list of best games ever has been there for over 10 years now. I can't think when I first played it, but it'll have been about 10 years ago. And that's Ocarina of Time on the N64. I've talked about it before in a few different times, but it was so groundbreaking at the time, that game, in terms of how big the maps were, like how big the world map was, and you could just go wherever you like, and it all looked wonderful at the time. I know the graphics look dated now, but at the time it looked fantastic, and it sort of created the mold of what adventure games were like, and it pushed the limits of the N64 as well at the time. It managed to get good sound out of a bad sound card, and so many pieces of music from that game are ones that people still remember to this day and love, which was, it's quite impressive on such a limited console. It invented Z targeting, which was the system where you lock onto your enemies, and that allows you to strafe around them whilst keeping them in your screen, and it was massively innovative, and it was the first game that ever did it. And it's a system that's used in hundreds of games these days. It's quite amazing how much of an impact it had. And in terms of, along with the Z targeting, it was groundbreaking in terms of how a camera would moved around in a 3D environment, and yeah, it was just a fantastic game, and it's so fun. And it's weird, I went back, I played Banjo-Kazooie again recently, on I can't remember. I played it a bit on the Xbox re-release, and that Banjo-Kazooie at the time was a fantastic game, and I loved it. It was almost as good as Zelda, I thought. And I went back and played it, and that game has aged so badly. It's crazy how basic and lacking it seems to be today. But going back and playing Ocarina of Time again, it's still as fantastic. It's managed to hold its own, and it's still better than a hell of a lot of games that come out today, which is impressive. And I mean, to the point where they can re-release it on the 3DS, and the game is still as fantastic as ever. So yeah, that's my number 1, Ocarina of Time. My number 2 is well, it's not much different. It's Majora's Mask, for much the same reasons. Majora's Mask took a winning formula and improved on it in so many ways. And whilst I say it improved it in so many ways, it's still not quite. It doesn't beat Ocarina of Time in my sort of made up top 5, just because Ocarina of Time was so groundbreaking. But the way the Majora's Mask came up with this fantastic way of real-time events occurring, no matter whether or not you were in an area. The NPCs carried out their tasks, their everyday tasks regardless, and I almost own this guy and hipfire fails me. That almost ruined his day. But yeah, Majora's Mask improved in so many ways, and some people sort of said it was annoying that you had to keep travelling back in time and redoing things, but it wasn't anywhere near as repetitive as people sometimes made it out to be. It was just such a fantastic game, and the fact that you could stick magical masks on and transform into different creatures and stop the moon from crashing into the planet. A little 9-year-old kid stopping the moon from crashing is quite a cool storyline. And then of course it's not really a game changer, it's not something that would bump it up in the ratings, but it had Fierce Deity Link in it, the demigod Link. It was just amazing. It was such a cool game, and I've only done the top 2, so I'm going to put 2 videos together. I'm making a bit of a habit of this, but I'm going to stick another video. I've got a couple of good videos for you to enjoy anyway, so I will continue my top 5 and hopefully not ramble on as much in the next gameplay. That's 25 and 4 though, with an ACR on Baccarat, and I'll be back in a second. Right, so I believe I've got a striker gameplay on, I've forgotten the name, it's not Carbon. Another pretty good score. I think if I remember correctly, I go on a bit of a sort of rampage, a crazy rampage about halfway through, which is why I'm showing you this, because it's quite fun. It's a fun game. So yeah, number 1 in my top 5 games ever would be Ocarina of Time, and number 2, boringly to some people, is Majora's Mask, which was the direct sequel to Ocarina of Time. In third place, I have a strange feeling that out of all of the games in my top 5, this is the game that the least people have played, and this is the game that more people should play. Just hundreds, billions more people should play this game. Third on my list is Tales of Symphonia on the GameCube. Now, I have a strange feeling that if anyone who's watching this has played Tales of Symphonia, they'll be sort of screaming at the TV going, "Oh my god, I know, it's great!" But not enough people played it. It's weird. Trying to find a copy of an RPG that comes out on the GameCube or any Nintendo console actually is crazily difficult, because they just don't print the copies for Nintendo RPGs for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they do it. It's silly though, because Tales of Symphonia is just the most phenomenal game. If you even remotely like RPGs, you need to play it. As far as I'm concerned, it's so crazy good. It doesn't date very well, which seems weird because there's no any result as Ocarina of Time and things like that. But there's so much in it that it's one of these games where the character animation for cutscenes is quite limited, and they have each character has their own little like animations that they always do, and it's a bit repetitive on that front, but that's a silly little thing. And one of the characters is quite possibly the most annoying character in existence. But if anything, that goes to show just how good this game is, because you may complain about characters in games, but nothing is more irritating than Colette in Tales of Symphonia, and yet the game is still fantastic. It's one of the most crazy in-depth RPGs you've ever played. I mean, you can play through that game 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and you will keep discovering new stuff, and you keep finding entire dungeons that you didn't even know existed. You'll find new aspects of the battle system that you never even knew did anything, and you can completely alter like the ending of the game and who lives and who dies based on just anything you do, and it was just ridiculously in depth. I can't think of a game before or since that has had as much depth and as many layers as Tales of Symphonia has. And you know, if you're one of those people who loves endlessly discovering things and a game never really running out of secrets for you. This is a game you should definitely try. It's very difficult to pick up a copy, which is a right shame. I mean, I remember me and my sister were so desperate to play it because I'll point out that it's like a real-time battle system RPG, but it's also 4-player. So that's another thing. It's just crazy good. But me and my sister could not wait for it to come out, so we imported a copy and didn't look back. We spent so long on that game. It's brilliant. Just play it, okay? Please just play it and forgive the silly. It's charming, but the silly ways that the characters sort of have the really, really expressive, emotive actions and things like that. And I'm jabbering on again because Tales of Symphonia is fantastic, phenomenal, and I can't talk enough about it. It's amazing. Play it, please play it. And I'm going to have to whiz through the last two because I'm going to run out of time. I don't want to do three games in one video, that'd be silly. So, number 4 in my top 5 games ever is, I kind of want to say the Mass Effect franchise, but the fact that I've split Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask means that I kind of have to pick one of the two, really. So I'm going to have to say Mass Effect 2. If you haven't played Mass Effect, play it. I mean, the entire... I've talked about it again before. I talked about it in my last Ken Gamers video post. But Mass Effect is just... it's so well made. It's got such a high level of polish. It looks fantastic. It plays fantastically. The storyline is great. The character development is brilliant. You can't help but love and hate the characters that you're supposed to love and hate. Everyone loves Garrus. Commander Shepard is one of the most charismatic, in the right way, charismatic main characters I've seen in a long time. So many, like so often, games try and force the main character down your throat and say, like him, he's cool, honestly, we're telling you he's cool, so believe it. But no, Commander Shepard, whether you play as the male or female Commander Shepard, they're just full of charisma, and he's just a good character, or she is a good character. And if you like stories of any kind, you need to play Mass Effect. You need to be playing it, and you need to be getting the new one when it comes out, because it's going to be brilliant, I'm sure of it. And we're about to run out of time, so I'm going to have to hurry up. The last game on my list is Batman Arkham City. Arkham Asylum was my favourite. It was one of my favourite games for ages, and Arkham City came along and just bumped it up a notch in every way. It's just quintessential action gaming, and it's the best. It's just the greatest comic book game ever made, without a doubt. And you need to play it as well. It's got the most fantastic stealth, greatest action, greatest fighting you'll have seen. And I'm rambling on, so I'm going to stop now. I wish I could talk more about it, but all that remains for me to say is, I would love to hear your guys' top 5 games, or your top games that you play the most, like the most. Leave them in the comments, let me know. And I'm sorry I've rambled on for so long, but it's a passion of mine. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thumbs it up if you liked it. Leave me any comments you want, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!